Hello, this is Dr. Wells with Wells Medicine, and this is the fourth video in this series of why holidays can make you miserable and what you can do about it. So the fourth reason that holidays can make you miserable is the disruption of routine and the stress of all the changes in routine and schedules and habits. Often around the holidays, people will travel, which can bring jet lag and exhaustion. They'll have a lot of holiday parties and school functions and, running the charity, auction and, having to travel and be at multiple different families' functions. And there's just a lot of busyness and things for other people that we're required to do around the holidays that we don't have maybe in April. A lot of people will stop their exercise routines in order to get all of these things done. When they're traveling, they'll often stop exercising. Sometimes sleep can take a backseat to the priority of things that need to get done around the holidays, which can also include a lot of people's places of work will have big projects that need to be finished up by the end of the year. And they'll have a lot of other, staff on vacation, so they'll take on extra work around the holidays. So there's just this general sense of being super busy and not being able to do the healthy things that are really required for mental health as well as physical health. So I do really want to encourage people to continue to exercise even when they're busy, to continue to place a priority on sleep and eating right, instead of eating all the really rich holiday food and junk that's kind of around that will spike blood sugars up and down and make it more difficult to sleep and more difficult to have nice, steady energy during the day. Sometimes with holiday parties, they will have a lot more difficulty avoiding alcohol, marijuana, too much caffeine in order to stay up for those holiday parties or those late night events. And all of that can send mood, flailing around. I've done many videos on, I think, the dangers of alcohol for mental health, and caffeine for mental health, and marijuana for mental health. So I hope you check those out below. But around the holidays, it's much harder for many people to avoid alcohol. Served at holiday parties, there's an expectation that we celebrate with alcohol in this country, and I don't know why. I think celebrating with apple juice or sparkling apple cider can be just as celebratory without the hangover the next day, the bad mood for 2 to 3 days. So I really do want to encourage, even around the holidays, maintaining any good habits and structure that you have around drinking and marijuana use. And I really do want to encourage just like you have a to-do list, having a to-not-do list around the holidays, so that when people are asking you to volunteer for that thing at your kid's school or to, volunteer for that position in the neighborhood party or, to host a party for this, that, or the other, or buy presents or, so many things that we're asked to do. Just say no to some of them at least. And it's not being Grinchy or Scroogey to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you take care of others. It really is about protecting yourself and setting up boundaries to protect your mental health and your time and your space and energy, so that you can have a peaceful, non-stressful holiday season and kind of survive the holidays. I think sometimes holidays can be viewed as something to just kind of make it through and survive the holiday season and look back on it and say, whew, I made it through there. And maybe it wasn't as beautiful and wonderful as I had hoped going into the holiday season, but whew, I made it through. Another year down. And I don't think that that's, discouraging to think, wow, I really made it through that. Some of the holiday seasons that I hear about from patients really are gauntlets of, parties that they have to host for clients and the perfect presents for clients. And I really just encourage, set up a to-do list of things to not do and things to say no to really guard your mental health during this holiday season. Really have some self-check-ins as to whether you're maintaining your routines and your structures. And, if you find that you've really kind of gotten off the self-regulation ability and habits, ketamine, we can offer infusions to help kind of get you back on track, to help get you back to your healthy habits and routines, and kind of jumpstart the return to normalcy. But the main focus really ought to be on maintaining those as much as possible going into the holiday season. The last video that we're going to talk about is kind of the existential dread of the year ending and what holidays mean for our culture. And so I hope you'll join me on that next one.